everyone! How's everyone doing today? I hope we're all good. I'm just going to log in and get our comments up so I can see who's joining me today. Whilst that's loading, just wanted to welcome you all to the Vegan Chef School cooking lessons, and you can join me, Kate, every Wednesday, and I will be sharing some family-friendly recipes. So I've been looking at what people are asking for. I know we've got our Indian recipes on Monday. Dave is giving you some little chef tricks, and we're covering some nutrition on Fridays now. So I would like Wednesdays to maybe focus on families. And I mentioned it last week about getting kids involved. So I don't want this to just be about kids. Our recipes will be suitable for anybody, but I really would like for children to start getting involved with the cooking wherever you can let them. So today is the perfect start. It's a super easy recipe. It can be used as a snack, or it could be used as part of a meal. We can pack it with loads of veg, so we can get them eating all kinds of different vegetables. Just checking who's with us today. Hi everyone, good morning, or good afternoon for us. Do let me know if any of you joining today are new, if you've not watched any of our videos yet. As always, there is a hidden rainbow, and it's a little bit small today because it was easy last week. So there's always a hidden rainbow, and you need to let me know when you find it. So back to what we're doing. So we're going to make some rainbow quiche cups. So these quiche cups, like I said, can be used as part of a meal, or they're the perfect snack. We're using tofu, so they're packed full of protein. We're going to have our calcium in there. I've listened to what Nikki said, so if we're going to have calcium in our recipe, we're going to have some vitamin C. So our vitamin C today is going to come from our red peppers. They're packed full of vitamin C. And lots of different vegetables, that's why it's called rainbow. Ooh, someone from Kuala Lumpur, yes! I love that you tune in from all over the world. This is so amazing. I absolutely love being a part of this. So let's show you what we're going to make today. So we're going to make some quiche cups. And I actually made these because I've been trying to do a bit of meal prepping this week, because I just keep eating whilst we're at home and I need to stop. So these, like I said, are the perfect healthy little snack. So I'm going to pop these to one side and we'll have another look later. So to get started, we are going to preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. That is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or gas mark 4. And you are going to want to use silicone cupcake molds if you have them. If you're going to use a metal one, I would suggest using the individual silicone cupcake cases rather than paper, because it may stick if you're going to use paper. If paper's all you've got, it's fine. If you lose a bit of the edge, it's not the end of the world, is it? So for this, I'm just going to pour my mixture straight into this. No oil, no nothing. Might stick a little bit, shouldn't do, but if it does, like I said, it's only going to be a little bit. So I'm going to pop them to one side and I'm going to fill them up later. So we're going to start prepping our vegetables first. Hi Denise, all the way from USA. Yes, love it. So, like I said, you can put whatever vegetables you want in here. This list is just the vegetables that I've got left over this week that are looking a bit miserable, so we're going to use some of them up. Things like peppers, like I said, packed full of vitamin C. If we've got any little kiddies helping out today, these are perfect vegetables that we don't really need to use a knife to prep. If you can rip the centre out, rip the top out with the seeds, we can just break these up. And we can get your little kids to break these up as small as they can, because these are going to go inside our quiche cups. I'm going to chop just for the sake of our recipe today. So I'm going to use about a quarter of this. I've got a huge pepper. Like I said, we can just break and break. So if we're gonna cut it, we're gonna slice it into strips first. And you want these pieces to be as small as you can get them. Don't need to be all chefy about it. We're just gonna get them nice and small. I'm just gonna do this so you can see. If we are going to be breaking them up, they might be a little bit bigger. It doesn't matter. I've got a quarter of a green pepper. I'm going to do the same to this. We're going to slice it into strips first, and then we're just going to slice it across into smaller pieces. So things like these quiche cups, like I said, they are perfect little snacks where we can load them with lots of different vegetables. You might have some fussy eaters that won't necessarily eat vegetables, so you can disguise them in something like this. But I think you'll find if you are letting children help with food prep, they're more likely to eat the food that they're making. I know a lot of schools are taking this principle on board now. Because if you think about it, if your food just turns up in front of you, you have no idea what's in it, then you're less likely to want to try it. Especially for those children that are a little bit more fussy. They might have some sensory needs around different textures or how it looks. So this could be played to in the sense that we've got quite a firm texture with our quiche cups. We can add some crunch or not, depending on what you need with the vegetables. Or we can add in different flavours if we want to push the boundaries of what they're trying. So I'm going to chop the spring onion up, and I'm going to save the end. Because the other thing that I've been trying to do, I haven't done it yet, but I've seen some things where you can regrow the vegetable scraps. So I would like to have a go at this. Apparently if you just put it in some water, it'll start sprouting. I don't know if it needs to be bigger than that, but we'll see what happens. And I also, depending on what veg I'm using, so once I get to the end of this red cabbage, I would just save this, and I have a little container in the freezer where I put all my veg scraps in, onion skins, garlic skins, put them all in there, and then when the bag's full, I will just pop them on with some water and salt and pepper, maybe some herbs, and I make my own veg stock. So I'm trying to be as resourceful as I can. I try to do that anyway, but obviously this lockdown situation, I hope, sorry guys, this lockdown situation just gives me a chance to kind of hone in on some things that are quite important to me, but maybe when everyday life is going on, I might forget about it. So we're going to chop that spring onion, again as fine as we can make it. All of our veg is going to go into the pan all at once, so we don't need to worry about keeping it separate. Red cabbage, I'm just going to do some thin slices. I'm going to chop that up fine. This recipe goes really nice with the ricotta cheese recipe that I made in my first video with the pancakes. You can just either mix it in, a couple of tablespoons into the mixture, or you can add it on to the top once you're serving. Sometimes with things like this, I like to get a little bit creative with how it looks. I kept it simple today just to share the recipe. But I like to use them as like an idea of a savoury cupcake. So you might have some hummus, you might make an avocado dip, or the ricotta cheese like I said, and you can use the quiche cup a bit like a cupcake and add the dip onto the top and maybe decorate with seeds or some extra veg, make it look pretty, some edible flowers, whatever you like. So we've chopped up our red cabbage. Hello Paul, it's good to see you. I would just like to thank you all for tuning in. We are so grateful for everybody that watches. And I just think we've got a really nice community going on, and it's lovely to be a part of it. I'm just going to use this just to grate my carrot on. So, I don't peel my carrots unless they're a little bit old, because as they get older the skin becomes bitter. So I'm not going to peel this one because it's new in this week, but it's only a small one, so I'll probably do most of it, and I'm going to save the end again to try and do some growing to see how successful I am with that. So we're going to grate our carrot. Oh, I'm glad you like that idea, Hannah. It's just a cute little idea to do that, you know, especially now that we're home and, you know, it's really important to watch what we're eating. But when you want some treats, sometimes I feel like just making your food look a bit prettier makes it feel more special. So obviously we can't go out to restaurants. Me personally, I don't have a sweet tooth, so I don't really struggle with wanting or craving lots of sweet things, but I do love how sweet things look. That's the appeal to me, that they're just pretty. So I like to make my food as pretty as I can, because like I've mentioned before, I'm a very visual eater, so however the food looks will determine sometimes if I'm going to eat it at all, but I also think if it looks really pretty, I just enjoy it more. So we have grated our carrot, and I'm going to save this. I'll update you with how successful I am or not with regrowing. So I've got my 2 little ends that I'm going to try and regrow. And we've got our carrot. So I just got a little bit of sweet corn left in this tin as well, so I'm going to use that up. So let's move this out of the way because we don't need those now. Pop that over here. Just have a quick tidy. Oh, so Michelle, I've just looked online, and from what I've seen, lots of people have like these big trays where they just put like an inch, maybe, it depends how big the thing is. With the spring onions, I've seen where if you just have a little jar and put them in water, so you'll put them in some water like this in the jar, so I'd probably fill it up to here, and the spring onion will start to grow from this bit. That's as far as my knowledge goes. I don't know what to do after it starts growing. The same with the carrot. The picture that I saw was like a tray of water and lots of different veg, so apparently celery is really easy to regrow, so you'd keep the end of the celery, so you're going to put it cut side down and then the regrow. No, you're not with the celery, cut side up, bottom in the water, and it's going to regrow at the top. So I say oh yeah, I'll definitely share it in the group, Dave. Please don't think I'm going to be that successful, but I will try. I don't have the best success rate with growing. Right, so I'm going to put a little bit, only a tiny bit of oil in my pan today. It is a non-stick pan, but it's kind of losing its non-stick, but anyway, we'll go with that. If you have a fantastic non-stick pan and you're going to use a little bit of water, make sure you don't add too much water, because the purpose of cooking our veg now is to get rid of the moisture, so we don't want to add too much moisture. It's okay to deglaze, but we will want to kind of crisp up and, like I said, get rid of our moisture. So I'm just going to do a little drizzle of oil. If you are using onions, white or red onions, I would cook them separately first. The more you cook the onions, so cook them low and slow, you're going to get a really sweet taste from them. But seeing as I'm not using them today, I'm just going to add everything in. Again, it's up to you how much veg that you add into your quiche mixture. Depending on what you're making for your lunch and your dinner, you could prep some veg now. So sometimes if I was making something like this and I know maybe later I'm going to make a stir fry, I might prep lots of veg, add what I want into my quiche, and then save the rest for meals later on. Or just save it in the fridge to use another time. Thank you, Auntie Maria. No, the rainbow's not at the bottom of my recipe. You have to look again. He's only a little fella today. Right, so we've got all of that in, and then I'm going to add the sweet corn. I'm just going to fry that off a little bit. What did I do with that? So whilst that's heating up, we've got a nice little rainbow going on in our pan. If you are letting children help today, please don't shy away from letting them use knives or supervise cooking. Obviously you're going to supervise them, you're not going to leave them to do it alone, that goes without saying, but the more they're exposed to cooking and using different utensils, the safer they're going to be. Going to be in the kitchen as a whole. So let's not shy away from letting them take part in different things. So yes, so you found it. I'll show you at the end. I've made a cute little one today. So let's get this going whilst that's cooking up. So I've just got 280 gram pack of tofu, just the usual little tofu packets. I haven't pressed it, I've literally just taken it out of the packet, and that's going to go straight into our food processor. I did make it hard today because last week when I had my big rainbow cake, I was so easy. I've got to test it sometimes. So tofu in. We're going to add all of our quiche ingredients. It's going to go straight in. Really simple. So I've got milk, I've got salt, yeast flake, nutritional yeast. I choose the one with B12, so I know that I'm adding an extra little B12 into my meals, and it's going to bring that cheesy taste to what we are doing. I'm just checking that you can see. Is that okay where it is? So we've got tofu. We're going to add 150 mils of milk. I'm using soy milk. The soy milk that I buy has added calcium into it. So I'm going to add that extra calcium boost. You can use any plant-based milk that you have. There's no specific milk that you need for this. I've added 150 mils because I like my quiche to have a little bit of moisture to it. If you like it a bit drier and a bit firmer, I'd say like 100 mils. See what your mixture's like and then go from there. Just experiment. These are your recipes too, guys. So unless it's a really strict recipe like a baking recipe that you might need to really stick to, play around with what you're making, have fun. This is about you being creative too and enjoying your food. So I've added, yeah, Paul, I've got a double rainbow today with the pan as well. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. You could also use potato starch. I've only ever done this recipe with cornstarch, but you can kind of split between the two. I think you might be able to use arrowroot, I'm not too sure. So 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. Perfect time to get your little ones, or not so little ones, measuring and doing the ingredients. Tracy, I've not made it with silken tofu, but I don't see why not. If you're using silken tofu, I probably just wouldn't add any extra milk, because obviously it's not as firm. See, I'll show you the texture once we've mixed it up. I'll show you what consistency you want. But yeah, it might also just need a little bit longer baking. But yeah, definitely, of course, you can use silken tofu. So, optional ingredients. I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder just to add a bit of extra flavour. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of onion powder. Haha, that's like my hair. I used to do this when when I was training at a vegan chef school. I was trying to do my hair do every time. Please don't put that challenge to me now. But yeah, thought we'd go a bit different today. So we've got onion powder, turmeric just for a little bit of colour. I know some people don't like the taste of turmeric. I don't mind it. So, but I'm still only going to add a quarter of a teaspoon. So not too much. Because I don't want the flavour to take over. But some people have just got a really sensitive taste to that. If you use turmeric, you should always use black pepper to get the benefits from turmeric. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. My husband is a nutritionist. That's what he said. Half teaspoon of salt. So salt and pepper, add as much or as little as you want. If you have black salt, I'm going to do Princess Leia buns. Oh god, right, okay. If you want to, you can use black salt for that eggy taste, but I don't personally like it. If you're going to use black salt, obviously switch it out for your sea salt. Just on this. So our veg is looking good. I'm going to let that keep going. I'm just going to turn that right down. Right, so we've got everything added to our food processor. I'm just going to... Can we use this recipe without the tofu? No, it can be a totally different recipe. There are quiche recipes. I did make a quiche recipe with... I used the ratio that we did the other week. I'm just going to turn this back on talking actually. I used the ratio that I mentioned last week that they had advised me with gram flour and potato starch. And that's kind of where I was experimenting with the recipe. It was more of a cupcake style finish rather than a quiche, if you know what I mean. So it was a really firm kind of cupcake. But obviously savoury. So if you wanted to, so you can't have soy. Yeah, I could share that recipe with you if you want to, and you can try it. So I can't remember the measurements off the top of my head, but like I said, it was just gram flour, potato starch, and then the flavourings and the milk that I added in. So yeah, we could give that a try. I will share that with you. Yeah, so we've because Sarah, I'll pop that. Sarah, I'll pop it in the community group for you to try out. I'd be really interested to actually know your opinion on it because I'm not gluten free. It tasted really nice, and I'm not saying it was a bad texture, but I'm not sure what textures to expect sometimes with gluten-free baking. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, or if that's kind of what you expect. So if I share it, if you make it, will you just let me know what you actually think of it, and then I'll have a play around with it if we need to. So I'm just gonna mix all this together and. Oh, then I'll show you the texture at the end. up today. So a little whisk. Oh, don't say that, Philly, you left me scared. Oh my goodness. Right, so let me just pull the blade out. Struck at the bottom. So it kind of has, bloody stuck. We've got like, it's quite a thick, can we see? Can't see because it's not carved. Hi Lisa, thanks for tuning in from Germany. There we go. So it does have an eggy look to it, a bit like an egg mayo, which is yucky, but not when it's tofu. So, oh, I've got bubbles on me. Can you see? So if you're using silken tofu, it might be a bit, well, it will be smoother, but it might be a little bit runnier. There's no trouble with that. Maybe you could add some gram flour to it just to thicken it up, or a bit of, I would rather do that than add more cornstarch. But like I said, it might just need baking a little bit longer. So I'm just going to add this into our veg so we can mix it all together. And then it will simply be going into the oven to bake. So I baked these, I baked them for 35 minutes. No, I didn't. I baked them for 30 minutes. And I let them cool down for about 5 minutes before I tipped them out of the silicone moulds. So, sorry, just to come back to this, this isn't about cooking this now, it is just to mix it through, so it doesn't matter that it's off the heat. Our veg is ready to mix in. And you're just going to make sure those rainbow colours are all the way through. Nice and even. And then we're going to add them to the moulds. Smoked tofu is perfect, so you can use whatever flavours you want in this. It does look like hummus. What would increase fewer numbers? So we're going to add this to our cases. If you are using your little silicone cupcake cases that are going to then slot in, you might get more out of this. So with this mixture, I get between 6 to 8, depending on how much I fill them. I do like to fill them up a little bit. You're not going to get any rise from this, so whatever you fill it up at, that's the size it's going to be. If you are using a metal baking tin with the cases in, your baking time might be a little bit less, so you're just going to keep an eye on them. For this, when I use this, I bake it for 30 minutes, take it out, and it's going to have quite a spongy texture, but it's still a little bit soft in the middle. And then you're going to leave them to cool for 5 minutes. If they're in the silicone, they're going to get a little bit sweaty, so you're going to want to make sure that you take them out. Sorry, I'm just checking your questions, guys. How much actual tofu in the States packages are? I've used 280 grams of tofu. I want to just double check actually what the drain weight is. Our packets are 280 grams. I soul food brand. Yeah, so it's 280, sorry. Can you use muffin tins? Definitely you can use muffin tins. Like I said, if you're going to use muffin tins, if they're the metal muffin tins, you're going to want to put the quiche into silicone cupcake cases, just so they don't stick. So, let's scoop this in. So I'm going to use a third of a cup measurement, which is 80 mils. You can use an ice cream scoop, you can use whatever you want just to try and keep them even. I'm just going to have to, I don't know if you can see me over here doing this. Stop it to this side. We'll see how many we get. A little bit messy. We'll keep it as tidy as we can. Get your kids involved with this, get them scooping, get them adding in. So scooping it all out. If we are going to be getting kids involved with this, you can let the mixture, let the veg pan cool down, or take it out of the pan, put it into a bowl just so it's safer to scoop out. And then these are just going to pop straight into the oven. Once they are in the oven, I'm going to show you the ones that I made. I made them on Monday. I'm going to squash them in. I'll have to have a little one. So we'll check that little one because that's obviously going to cook faster. So I've got 7.5 out of this today. So I used these when I did some meal prepping this week. So they keep in the fridge. You can eat them cold or you can warm them back up. So I'm just going to show you, and I'm going to pop these into the oven, and then I'll pop my timer on for half an hour and I'll show you what we have. So like with any baking, like we've mentioned before, into the centre of your oven so you get an even bake. And then we have our ones that I've already made. So I'm just going to break one in half. I'm going to show you. So they're like a quiche texture. Fantastic. I'm going to open them up, and you can eat them cold. You can warm them up. You can eat them as a snack. You can put them with a meal. They're so versatile. You can change the flavour. Like I said, you can make some little savoury cupcakes. So that's it for today, guys. That's my vegan rainbow quiche cups. I just wanted to remind you all that we've got the Vegan Chef School online courses that they spoke about yesterday. So if you want more information about those, head over to the Chef School website. And Day is going to be doing jackfruit mayo salad tomorrow, so we're finally going to get our jackfruit recipe. I know lots of you want to use jackfruit, so tune in for that tomorrow. Can we see a close-up? Of course you can. I'm not very good at my camera angles. I hope you can see everything here. Written recipes for these and videos too. Liz, if you're not already a member, you can request to be a part of the Vegan Chef School community group that we've got going. All of our recipes get posted on there. The videos stay on the Chef School Facebook page. You can always access them. Sorry guys, if you've got any final questions before I go, you can just ask me now. Thank you all so much for joining in. I've really enjoyed this today. So going forward, I'm going to make sure all of my recipes are family friendly. I'm going to stay away from sweet treats for a little bit. Just keep them savoury, focusing on health, focusing on looking after ourselves whilst we are in lockdown, and getting kids involved wherever possible. I've put a little message on the community group page yesterday, just asking if you've got any children that you know that might want to get involved. If you've got any nieces, nephews, grandchildren that don't live with you but you think they might want to join in some cooking classes, then just send them the Facebook page, or obviously their parents' a Facebook page, and we can get them joining in. If you think you would like to do this, because Day did a cook along yesterday and I thought it was a really nice idea, so if you would like to, I could share my recipes and equipment needed early, so we can get kids cooking along whilst I'm cooking too, and we can interact and answer any questions or get any tips out there that they might need, and we can make things that they want to. So if they have a favourite recipe that they'd like to share and that we can make it on here, we will. If you've got any family recipes that you want to veganise, that you used to love eating if you weren't always vegan and you've kind of not figured out how to make it now, we can explore things like this. I think someone mentioned a lasagna yesterday. I'd love to make a lasagna. If that's something that you want to see, you let me know and we'll make it happen. So thank you so much for joining today, guys. Have you got any last questions? No, I think that's it today. Thank you. Oh, happy Earth Day to you as well, Sarah. Let's celebrate our Earth today, getting a chance to heal, so that's always a good thing. So I will see you all next Wednesday, and in the meantime, if you want to check out some of my recipes, you can head over to my page on Instagram, Pinch of Kindness. I've just launched my Facebook page today, and I've got Pinch of Kindness blog. That's at pinchofkindness.com. And I'll be posting some recipes this week. So thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.